Is struggling with anxiety and depression a sign that someone has weak faith?
Absolutely not. In fact, anxiety and depression are feelings that many of us will experience over our lifetime. And having enough faith will not prevent us from those kinds of feelings. Anxiety and depression are disorders that begin in our brain, and they may be precipitated by something that happened in your life, but they are disorders that your brain isn't functioning the right way. And you can still be a very faithful person and have a brain that's not functioning the right way.
Good to know. Where do you think the stigma around therapy within some religious communities comes from?
I think probably fear, which is where a lot of stigma comes from. A fear of that therapy might convince someone that their religious beliefs are not true. So any different faiths want only for you to go talk to, say, someone, their pastor or bishop, and that should be the starting point. But I'm hoping that the stigma about the fear of not getting help will slowly dissipate and will become a thing of the past.
Okay. What role can faith play in someone's recovery from depression, anxiety, or trauma?
Okay, so one of the best examples of a faith-based treatment program is actually Alcoholics Anonymous, and it has been around for over 100 years now, because it was started in the early 19th century. And first thing that they help you understand is how a higher power, and having faith that there's someone out there that really wants you to succeed, will enable you to develop faith in yourself. And so faith in something that is bigger than ourselves helps us to recognize that we can look to other sources rather than the voices of the world that always tell us that we're not enough or we can't do it.
Got it. How can someone know when it's time to seek professional mental health help instead of trying to handle everything on their own?
That is a question that I have been asked many times. And I think that the first thing you need to do is just look at how are you functioning. If you're feeling like you don't enjoy life anymore, that you can't complete the tasks that are asked of you, that you, for example, can't get out of bed and take care of your kids, or your inability to concentrate at work is impeding your ability to do a good job, then you should seek out help. If you're just having regular garden variety, I feel lousy today, then usually something like an exercise session or listening to a podcast or reading a book, those kinds of things will intervene and will lift your mood. But when you can see that those types of interventions aren't working and that you are unable to function in your daily life, and why not go? You don't have to go for a year. Just go and maybe get some good ideas, maybe 1 or 2 sessions. Professional help.
I think people sometimes I won't say people, I've at times felt like I don't want to be someone who is just, my entire new personality is self-help.
Right.
Which I think sometimes people are afraid that that's going to happen to them. But that's like being afraid that, have you ever heard people talk about like, if you go to the gym, like, oh, I'm afraid of getting too big at the gym? Have you heard that? Which is funny because it's like,
right.
You need help.
Well, the thing is that we are all searching for help all the time. And so, of course, there's good therapists and bad therapists, and so we can actually have good and bad experience. One of the things that I recommend is that you find a therapist, and if you don't feel like you're getting what you need out of them, or that your personalities conflict, your values conflict, then you fire them just the same way you would fire any professional that you're wanting to get help from.
What can religious leaders do better to support members experiencing mental health challenges?
Well, there's some platitudes that we should probably get rid of forever, like if you just had more faith. There's a saying that's really hard for anyone who's suffering with religious OCD, it's like obedience brings blessings. Perfect obedience brings greater blessings. Well, what's perfect obedience? So those kinds of phrases. And I also think that if you are a church leader, and remember that there are professionals that can help you. You don't need to solve a problem by yourself. And you're probably better off referring to professionals and consulting with them. That was one of my favorite things. I was so impressed with the mission leaders and their insights and their willingness to listen and to apply to the ways that they were helping their missionaries. It was remarkable. So as a leader, know where your limits are.
Okay, so how can trauma affect somebody's relationship with God or their religious beliefs?
Well, I think that's a straightforward answer because trauma destroys our trust in life in general. And so even the thought of why is this happening to me and how would God let this happen to such a good person? Why do bad things happen to good people? And so, of course, traumatic event is going to make you question everything, your beliefs, whether you see life as, if you trust that the things that you do will have a certain outcome, because usually with trauma, the outcome is taken out of your hands. For example, there were missionaries that were robbed and they would feel like, what did I do wrong? I don't know whether I can't trust that life is going to go how I want it to go. So I would say that's why trauma especially is hard. It's hard to maintain your faith when you've had a real traumatic experience. So my advice for that, or I would say some professional advice for that, is don't make any big decisions about anything when you've just experienced a very traumatic event. Let time pass and cooler heads prevail and get professional help.
Got it. How can people navigate spiritual struggles while also addressing their mental health? So for example, if you are abusing alcohol or you're doing something to seriously hurt family members, like things that really do need to be addressed, like serious behaviors, how do you address those and address mental health at the same time?
Well, one of the things that is a fact of humanity is that the more things that we do to help ourselves in any fashion will contribute to our mental wellness.